All right, we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the GetGrowing weekly work session with GetOiling. We're joined by our entire team today, Kim Ming, Greg, and Amanda Kilwine. Today, you guys, we're talking about taking your community online, building your community if you don't have one yet, and how you can do that inside of GetOiling. But before we do that, let's hear from everybody on our panel today. I don't know, let's share something funny or something interesting that's happened in the last 24 hours for you, some fun fact. Let's change this up this week. Who's gonna go first? If you're here with us live, go ahead and put something in the chat. What's the funniest thing that happened to you this week?
Oh boy. Well, I think I just shared mine with you before we went live, and I don't know if it's funny, it's kind of disgusting, but we have a new little guy. I'm moving my computer so you can maybe see him. This is our new addition. Oh, there he is. So he's wiped out because he had a long night. Last night was the first night of puppy school. And with the excess number of puppy treats that he received during puppy school because he was so good, he now has the poops today.
Oh, fun! He's
exciting.
So cute. Oh my God.
He's a good boy.
Oh. Karen says that their puppy opened a big new pack of toilet paper.
Oh.
I think it must be dog day today because our dog is throwing up all over too. So.
Oh no.
Oh my God, poor thing. Greg and Amanda and I last night were talking about the funnies of putting shoes on dogs and how some of our dogs are fussy and they won't like go out when it's wet outside, or when it's snowy they'll like hop on a leg or whatever. Anyway, yeah. All right. Yes, dogs are funny and they are the center of our worlds. All right, so Kathy's relieved that she doesn't have any funny stories today. So there's some blessings in not having anything too wild going on in your life for sure. Well, cool. So now we got the sillies out of our system. Welcome everybody. Super excited to have you here today. The way that this is going to go is I'm going to go through some slides with you and share with you some of the best practices, some of the kind of meaning behind building a community and what that does for your business. For those of you who aren't utilizing this really powerful thing right now, maybe you don't feel like you have enough going on to do it. I'm going to show you how that's wrong today, and how you can start actually building something that's a huge asset to your business in the long term. And then we're going to flip over and actually show you, get into the nitty gritty, the how to, demonstrate how you get this thing done. If you're here today with questions, with frustrations, if you need some guidance, some help, put that question in the Q&A. We are going to open up for Q&A after we do our slides and some demonstrations. So we are here to help you today if you need it. All right, so with that, I'm going to come over and share my screen and start going through some slides here, if you guys can see them. Can we see?
Yes, we can.
Fabulous, thank you. All right, so this is all about creating your own community on your own website. Why is it important that it's on your own website? We're gonna get to that. But first, for those of you who have not been with us on one of these trainings before, this is a totally free live training that we do weekly. It's not just for folks who are in GetOiling, although of course, this is definitely a support and education feature for those of you who are. We do a lot of training on really just the basics of what it means to grow a business successfully, utilizing the internet in a way that can make perfect sense to you and give you the life and business by design that you want for yourself, no matter how old you are or where you are in the world. And so we've created this series to serve you, anyone who is looking to grow Young Living as a business. We do this every week at the same time, and you can catch our replays over on YouTube. That's at youtube.com/GetOiling. So first, we're going to talk about what it means to build a community, how you can build your community without it becoming a full-time job for you. Really important. And then also, why not just do this on Facebook groups? This may be a question that comes to mind. Well, I mean, if I have Facebook groups, isn't that community enough? We're going to talk about the difference. Then we're going to talk about how to set up and use vaults on your GetOiling website for your leads, for your members or team, and to run challenges or programs. If you are a coach or an expert in something and you run courses and things like that, you can do that inside of these vaults as well. So like I said in the beginning, if you've got questions or you need help, let us know now. Head over to the Q&A and ask away. We will get to all those questions. It is definitely better if you put them in the Q&A because they could get lost in the chat. So go ahead and pop them over there and we will get to you. So I want to make this point here first. For those of you who are not using community to grow your business, I want to remind you of this really profound saying, and it's attributed to an old African proverb, but I think it's true for any of us who really know what it means to function as a team or as a unit, whether that's in a more personal way or in the context of business. If you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. This makes sense, right? How many of you have heard this before? Maybe quick show of hands. I absolutely love this quote. I love this saying. And I think it really speaks to the idea that, well, for another saying, the rising tide lifts all boats. You create that rising tide with a community. One person can only do so much. And you as an individual could go out and enroll a ton of people. But do you want to be the one person that does absolutely everything in your business always and forever? No, you're going to reach the levels of leadership that you want to in this business as a unit, as a team, by locking arms with others. So we're going to talk about how you can do that at multiple levels of your business and how you can facilitate that with infrastructure and time-saving features with our system today. Excuse me. So first, why do you need a community? First, really important, you guys, your product is not bottles of oil or packets of Ningxia. Your actual product, what you are actually selling people on at the end of the day, if you're successful with this, is a lifestyle shift. You are selling lifestyle, because if you are successfully converting someone over to lifestyle, you've got somebody who's with you for life. That means residual income. That means sharing. That means growth, right? If you can view what you're doing as selling and sharing and showing a lifestyle shift, everything will change for you in terms of your results. So first, your actual product is lifestyle, and lifestyle conversion, meaning getting people over onto a lifestyle shift, means retention for your business, which is really important. Community culture, when you create a community and decide what the culture is going to look like, that is what's going to duplicate that lifestyle aspect of your business that you want to really cement and grow and duplicate. Another reason why you really want to have a community and really have stacks of communities, right? Community of leads, community of product users, community of team, right? So you can have leveraged communication so that when somebody needs to know something or everyone needs to know something, you have got a surefire way to reach out and touch and let everybody know something at the same time without it having to become a full-time job. All right. And then finally, when you have a community, you are building the platform by which you can elevate and duplicate leadership. So you can empower others to lead by your example and by the examples of others who are leading in your community when you actually have that environment. So those are the really important things that you need to be able to foster here and what it can do for you. So one of the real downsides of having, and this is true particularly if you utilize Facebook groups, is that it can quickly become another day job for you, especially if you've got a large group. You start to feel like you are a manager, a social media manager, an expectations manager, a customer service manager, what have you. And I'm sure that you didn't get into this business to fulfill those roles. So there's a few things that you want to make sure that you get right so that this works for you in a way that is joyful, that is not stressful, that is easy, and that does not take up every moment of your time to maintain. The first is you've got to have clarity. Okay, when you're going to create a community, when you're going to create a community to foster and cultivate leads toward becoming your members. If you're going to create a community of members to educate them and help to share with them, how they can become more integrated into the Young Living lifestyle. If you're going to create a community that is about sharing, that is about team growth, that is about coming together and moving up together. You have to have clarity around your community's purpose, because you're going to set the culture, you're going to set the direction, you're going to set the rules. And so at the outset here, you need to be 100% clear. What do you want from this? And then you need to make those expectations clear to those who would be joining and participating in this community with you. If you don't have clarity around this, you don't really know what you're going to get, right? And if you're going to build something, it better be the thing that you want, right? Finally, the next thing is practice. Committing to a handful of specific activities on an either daily or weekly basis. One of the things that I really want to drive home here, and I think this is an important thing for us in this space to know, is that hustle is not the name of the game. Hustle is activity for the sake of activity. We are about targeted activity that gets you results so that you can go live your life and do the things that you like to do. This business should not be a treadmill for you. This should be something that works for you when you're on the beach, when you're with your family, right? And it can be if you work smart. So if you commit when you want to build a community, and this is true whether you're on Facebook or if you have your own community on GetOiling, but I think it's extra true if you're going to build it on your own time and GetOiling in your own space, is that if you commit to a handful of daily activities, the engagement that you want, people showing up and participating, the things that you want to happen, you have more control over that inside of a GetOiling group, inside of a vault there, which we will get to here in just a minute. But you have to make sure that you commit to show up daily for specific activities or weekly if that's what you prefer. And the beautiful thing about doing this with us in a vault is that you can actually automate a lot of this stuff and systematize it so it takes less time. And then finally, if you want to get this right, if you want to build a community and you want it to really work for you, there's three main things that fall under the category of mindset that you need to keep in mind. The first is, this is your business. This is not your upline's business. This is not your downline's business. This is yours. The community that you build, the people that you want to serve, this is yours. It's your community and it's your business. So don't let the, the opinions of anyone who is not you dictate how your business is run, how you develop your culture, your community, your team. Really important. Number two, don't hold out for perfect. I know that a lot of folks want to launch a thing, right? They want to launch a group or open up a feature or start a blog or do whatever. I want to, and it's at some point in the future. And we think that we need to hold out for some perfect set of circumstances before we can actually go and do something with it. You can invite people into an empty group so long as you are telling them how excited you are about what you're about to put in there. Okay, start now with the vision that you have and start bringing people, start building community one by one with what you have right now. Don't hold out for website design or branding images or some arbitrary amount of content or blog posts or modules or whatever to bring people in and to build community. Because what community is at the end of the day, you guys, is not a pedestal for your message. It is a boat for your people. All right. Your community is not a pedestal for your message. It is a boat for your people. So link with the people first and don't put off creating what you know you need to create for some kind of idea of some perfect thing down the road. All right. Show of hands. Does that make sense? Who's with me on that? You start with your people because this is about your people, right? Community is about your people. It's not about some kind of perfect circumstance. All right, now finally, this is really, really important, and this goes back to point one in mindset to a degree. You aren't getting paid to herd cats, all right? When you start building a community, when you start intentionally saying, These are sort of the buckets that I'm going to create. This is where my leads go. This is where my members go. This is where my team goes. Not everybody is going to want to adhere by, play by, or follow, or follow in order, or adhere to the rules or the guidelines or the actions that you want them to take. Every single person is not going to, and it's okay. When you create a community, you want to make sure that you have an abundant mindset that accepts that not everybody is going to be ready for it, and that you're looking for people who are ready for it right now. If you can keep that in your mind and respect the fact that you aren't getting paid to herd cats, you are getting paid to transform lives, all you got to do is focus on those who are ready to get some transformation, right? All right, that mindset stuff is really, really important, you guys. All right, so what are those specific activities that I mentioned in that last thing? You remember specific daily and weekly activities that you want to participate in if you want to build a community? And this is wherever you want to build a community. First, you need content, right? If you're going to build a community, you need to feed your people, right? So content needs to transcend the stuff that is just promotional, right? So you want to share things that are useful, that are educational, entertaining, inspiring. Share this information regularly on a daily or weekly basis. In GetOiling, in a vault, you could put this in a discussion room. You could also put this in an online class. You could send this out via text or email as a notification that folks need to come and check the thing out in your group. And then, of course, if you're doing this on Facebook, then sharing things like blog posts or links to external content and videos and things like that is just as relevant there. You want to make sure that you are feeding content to your folks. The thing about, and actually just to draw a quick distinction between building a community on Facebook versus building one on GetOiling, if you're going to put content on Facebook to sort of feed engagement, you have to do 5 to 10 times more of this specific step than you do inside of a GetOiling vault. And the reason why is that Facebook is not incentivized to show what you do or share to the people that you're connected to. They want you to pay for that. Okay, you're either going to pay for it with them in money via ads or in time by doing 10 times more work, just so you know. So sharing blog posts, videos, again, all of this is going to be super relevant and helpful. And again, this is all going to depend on which bucket you're focusing on. Interaction, another core piece, specific activity. This is a thing you're going to want to do daily. Encouraging people to post and comment and to communicate with each other. And for you to go in and communicate with them too, right? So whether, again, this is in Facebook or you're doing this inside of a GetOiling vault, you got to do the interaction on a regular basis. What I recommend is that you maybe schedule, depending on how busy the group is, one block of time per day to go in and do the interacting. If you're on Facebook, it does demand that you are present a little more frequently. But if you're doing this on your own terms, in your own community, on GetOiling, you can do this once a day, just making sure that you're going in and nobody's being left behind. And then finally, broadcasting. This is simply the act of letting people know that you did a thing and they need to make sure they go see it. And this is the one thing that Facebook falls extraordinarily short on when it comes to building community. You need to be able to let people know that there's a thing they need to go see and how they can go get to it right now. See, when you post something on Facebook in a group, it has an incredibly short shelf life, right? Somebody else posts and somebody else posts, and God forbid they're in their news feed. I mean, it's kind of a hopeless activity sometimes, getting a specific thing seen by a sizable amount of people. Right? Unless you already have an enormous amount of people, you're still only going to reach a fraction, right? So anyway, when you broadcast, this basically just means that either on a daily or weekly basis, as a digest or a quick reminder, you're just sending a quick text or an email out to the members of that community to let them know, hey, I shared a thing in here today. Here's a link to go over and check it out. Go check it out, leave me a comment, right? So these are the 3 main things that you've got to do. The specific things you've got to do either on a daily or weekly basis, depending on how you want to operate and spend your time, if you want to build a community. And guys, this is the exact same thing. If you put one person, it's you and one person, and that's your community right now, or if it's you and 10,000 people, it's the same thing. All right, so what about Facebook groups? Why aren't we talking about how you can build a Facebook group and use that to grow your business? Well, first, Facebook groups are really only ideal for your leads. The reason for this is because Facebook is a place where a lot of people are already hanging out, and it's sort of an easy segue. It's a very easy segue, right? If we're already on Facebook, you could say, hey, pop over into this group. I've got some cool stuff in here. And it doesn't feel like it requires a great deal of commitment, because in fact, it doesn't. They're going to go back to that incredibly distracting place that they're probably addicted to going to and scrolling through, right? So why not add another thing that might be interesting to them that they can scroll through with all of the other things they scroll through, right? It's a very easy proposition. It is a low barrier to entry for people who you want to kind of get warmed up to the idea, but not necessarily bombard them with everything Young Living. So this is really the one instance where you could use a Facebook group successfully. And even with this, you don't have to do this on Facebook. You could have your lead group on GetOiling inside of a vault as well. But this is really the only place that I would recommend that you have a Facebook group specifically. So the problem with Facebook groups is that Facebook in general is entirely too distracting of an environment to actually secure someone's focus. And it's not a reliable platform for reaching people for reasons I've already mentioned, right? It's not reliable because it's distracting, and it's also not reliable because there is no guarantee unless every single person subscribes to updates from that group. And you can ask them to, but will they, right? You also, when you get someone into a group, you don't have their email address and their phone number necessarily. Maybe there's a way you can get it. Yeah, maybe there's a way you can export it, but that's 6 different steps. And if you're making your own member area and vault with GetOiling, it's already done for you. They're already in your contact manager, and you can see what they're doing. You can see like what they're watching, what they're clicking, and all that kind of great stuff. And then really importantly, you guys, and this is not just about community, this is about you operating your business, period. If you are using social media to attract leads and to get conversations started wherein you can share Young Living with people, your number one goal is to get people off the platform. Your number one goal is to get people out of Facebook and onto Zoom, out of Facebook onto a phone call, right? Out of Facebook, in-person, one-on-one. Your number one goal is to get them off the platform. So if you want to really meaningfully and successfully start to foster the educational environment and really just the culture in general that would get someone excited about making that lifestyle shift, which remember that's the most important thing you need to do is sell a lifestyle shift, then your prerogative is going to be to get them off of there. So if you got them as a lead and they want to learn more, plugging them into a resource that is completely yours and isolated and specific is going to be much more effective than competing with the constant barrage of updates and pictures of cats and babies that is the super distracting world of Facebook. And finally, the absolute most important thing that you need to know, and the reason why I don't advocate for you to really do anything other than lead generation on Facebook, is that Facebook fundamentally does not support what we do. You guys know that, right? Show of hands. Please tell me you know this. Facebook does not support network marketing. Facebook does not support Young Living. Facebook does not support anything that there are keywords. I mean, how many of you have gotten the slap from Facebook for doing something that should be totally fine, right? Facebook does not care about your business, all right? So don't make yourself reliant upon this platform. It is not a good long-term move for you. All right, now let's talk about how you can build your community inside of GetOiling. This is sort of a broad overview of what this looks like. We are going to come off and actually show you some examples of what this looks like here in just a second. But at the top level of your community is your member area. This is a section of your website. So this would be yourwebsite.com/members. And those who have a login to your member area are going to then see the things that are available for them to engage with. So that member area is kind of like a lobby, or it's a parlor, right? It's the first room when you enter a building where there are doors connected. And those doors go to vaults, right? These would be the rooms that are adjacent to the lobby. So the vaults, these would be sort of the equivalent in a lot of ways to your Facebook groups. This is where you can have things like discussion rooms, where you can actually have threads, chat threads, images, and people liking and commenting and all the kind of stuff that you would normally expect to do inside of a chat room. You can have dedicated discussion rooms, classes. So if you wanted to actually have an online course, that's a thing that fits in here, as well as just things like training modules. I know that that's a newer feature with Facebook groups. You can actually have module lessons inside of there. That's something that you can have here as well, in a much more organized and easy to digest fashion. And then finally, you have pages. Now, pages here are kind of an infinite possibility for you. This could be guides, this could be, sort of resource lists. It could be anything you want. It could be pages of video replays, lots of different ways that this can work. But you basically have these three core elements that fit into these vaults that allow you to design the exact experience and cultivate the exact kind of culture that you want for the community that you want. And so you would have a vault, for instance, that is a community for your leads. If you chose to not do that on Facebook, you would have a vault for your members where you would put PV promos and product education. You would have a vault for your team where you would share team promotions and and sharing guidelines and things like that, right? Does that make sense? You take the resources that you get, like the sways from Grow Workspace, and you plug those into a class feature. And I'll show you what this looks like actually here in just a second, inside of, say, your member community. So that if someone wants to learn about a specific product line and they're in your member area, they've got a place where they can go, right? Now let's talk about we get a little questions about, well, can it do this? Does it do that? Can it do these things that Facebook does? And the answer to all of these questions is yes. So first is, can you have class modules like I just mentioned? Yes, you can have an entire online course that people pay for if you wanted to. We actually have several of our members who are doing this, and beautifully. Can you post with comment threads? Yes, you can. Can you share downloadable content? Yes, and in ways that Facebook won't allow you to. Can you share videos? Absolutely, in lesson form. You can embed them elsewhere inside of your vault as well. And then finally, you guys, this is actually a brand new thing that we've just announced today. You can even go live, right? That's a big thing for a lot of folks. Well, can I go live in my group? Yes, you can. You can now go live with GetOiling using your Zoom. And this is something, a lot of folks pay for third-party services for this. This is yet another thing that's just already in the box here. We've already got it for you if you have GetOiling and you've got a Zoom account with us. So there you go. So you can go live in your group as well. So you guys can see this in action. And actually, I want you to maybe open up a new tab or write this down or whatever. But really important, there is in-depth, step-by-step, hit pause, go get it done, come back, play the next video, training on exactly how to set up your member area and your vaults at this link. Okay, getoiling.com/member training. This will take you an hour, I think. It's not that complicated. Obviously, you can make it as complicated and pretty as you want, but you can get the bones in place very quickly. Getoiling.com/member training. And I'm actually going to go over and show you what that looks like right now. All right, just a second while I grab that. All right, so is this a good size sort of resolution for viewing? You see it okay?
Shrink the height a little bit. It's a little tiny. There we go. It's better.
Yeah, better? All right, perfect. So this is what you see when you go to getoiling.com/member training. All you got to do is enter your info, and you're going to be led over to, sorry about that. All right, you're going to be led over to our member area. You will, if you've never gotten into our member area before, you will get an email with a button to click so you can create your own account for our member area. But this is the member area. This is what ours looks like. And you'll see that, you know, we've got a nice little cover photo here, just like you do on Facebook. You could put a different picture here if it's your face, if it's, you know, a team logo, whatever you like. You've got a number of different vaults. These are the vaults that we have set up here. So here's the member area and online class one that you have just signed up for. And here you've got, this is a page. I mentioned pages. So we've got a page here that really just kind of sets expectations and tells you what's going on here, and then lets you know what's next. So when we go to what's next, we've got our class here. This is how to set up your member area. And the cool thing about this is, you guys, depending on how you want to set this up, you can choose to have a discussion room inside of your vault, but you could also choose to have, if you have a class, have the discussion underneath the individual modules or lessons inside of your group. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here, but this is, you know, this is actually what a discussion looks like underneath a module in a vault. Oop, I got to hit complete there. There we go. And there you go. You've got your video there as well, should you choose to do that. So that's one example. We also have what you'll see in here. We've got if you're a part of the 28-day challenge and go for gold, that's in here. We've got a lead generation workshop that may actually show up as available to you if you haven't done this yet. And this has, there's a discussion room here. Pretty cool. So so this is, again, want to encourage you, get over to getoiling.com/member training so that you can get all of the in-depth step-by-step in a way that is very easy for you to follow along with. You don't have to watch an hour-long video. You can just do one piece at a time to get that done. So that's what that looks like. And now I think, let me see, make sure I've got this right. Yeah, now we're going to talk about how to use vaults for your leads, for your prospects, for your team, for your clients, if you consult or you train or you're a coach, and then we'll be taking Q&A as well. So yeah, let's go on with it. I saw that the chat was just absolutely lighting up and a lot of Q&A questions coming in as well. So let's get this done.
Cool. Do we want to save the Q&A for later? And,
yeah, let's maybe we'll show Jane's vault if you have that up. I think I'm logged in if you want me to do it.
There we go. Gotta find the right tab. There it is, or it should be. Can you see it?
Uh-huh.
Awesome. Okay.
Oh, you see the member area settings, right? Is that where you mean?
Yeah, the member area settings. Yep. So here is her actual vault on the inside, where in this case, or her member area with all the vaults. She's got 4 vaults set up in her account right now. And do you remember which one has the most stuff in it?
Ooh, no, not specifically, but we could show you how to add stuff. So this is an example of a team vault.
Right, yeah, so the team vault here has got 2 discussion rooms and a class. So these are kind of separated, you know, different topics. The cool thing is you can have multiple discussion rooms in your vault. So you can have like topic-based ones, as you see here. So if you want to have like a specific one for team updates, or like, you know, maybe there's a monthly PV promo discussion room or whatever you want to do, kind of a stream like that. But then they're all independent of each other, and they have separate streams. I'm talking about grilling, apparently. It's a demo account, so there's some fun stuff in here. But yeah, so you can do that. And so yeah, and here's a class. Actually, I just demoed that too, but you know, this has, you know, just kind of very light framework of a class maybe for builders. But this one, I think, yeah, let's see if there's anything else in here. That one's got a class. This holistic home has what?
You can actually show the challenge. That's actually a an example one. Oh, here's a good one.
Yeah, this has pages in it too. So this, yeah, so this, the little icon determines the type. So like this is a class, got the little diploma thing on there. This is a page, and this is a discussion room. So the page is basically just whatever you want to do. Looks like this one, has a sway embedded on it, which is cool. You can do that. You can, this one, we'll see what the recipes looks like. Oh yeah, here's some nice looking recipes that you might have in there. So really, the possibilities are kind of endless. This one has a video on it. And actually, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions about this too, but this would be how you would do the go live thing. So the Zoom, or sorry, not Zoom, but in YouTube, because you can stream Zoom meetings to YouTube. I believe you would embed there. I was just looking that up a few minutes ago. Like there are ways of embedding your live page, or a live video in your page, I believe. And so you put that on here, and then you go live in Zoom, and it would kind of go all the way and show up on your page. So you direct people to a page in your vault, basically. That's how you do that one. Yeah, so let's hop over here to your Zero to Crunchy with the cool little animated broccoli donut thing. This has a lot more in it. There's some activity you can see. If there is recent activity in the discussion rooms, you'll see that over here. And it shows who and when and what post that they're on. But this one has basically a page. Again, you can have really anything you want to on the page. The discussion room, and then it looks like another page. So
yeah, this is this particular vault is an example of a 28-day challenge.
Okay. Cool. Kathy mentioned, do you stream videos, or can you stream videos to Vimeo? That would, I would have to look into that. I know Vimeo has live streaming, but I know right out of the box, Zoom supports now anyway, the YouTube streaming. So there may be a way to connect video. We'll figure that out. But yeah,
and if
cool.
you stream to YouTube, it'll embed. You can embed it inside your group, inside your site. Awesome.
Yeah, and somebody had asked here about the discussion rooms. I think this is an important point for engagement. And in addition to sending out the emails and texts like Ashley was mentioning earlier, anytime you make a post or a comment in a discussion room, it does actually send out an email on the back end. So anyone who's in that group and who has like signed up for it, it's not, there's a slight difference. So like if you invite everyone, but you make a post, it's only going to send an email to those people that have actually accepted the invite. That way you're not kind of like spamming them. So once they're in there, then they will get the emails, and they can, if they want to, if you ever get anyone saying, I don't want these, there's a little gear here, and you can customize the notifications and then choose all these different notifications. They can even do like weekly digests if they really want to, of notifications, daily, hourly, kind of clumping it or bunching it together so that it doesn't overwhelm their email. But yeah, it does send out email notifications when you make a new post. So you can also send out, a text or whatever, which I can show you how to do that here in a second. Comments work the same way. So like if there's, a comment and somebody else comments on that comment and you're kind of on that thread, it'll message the previous several people, I believe, with the following comment. So, or the comment that you made. If you want to send that to, like if you want to specifically send out an email to people in the vault, then go to your member area settings here, which is under the My Site member area. Click on vaults, find the vault that you want, and then there's a view and message link here. And so when you click on that, it takes you to the contact manager. And then from here, you can do everything that you can do in your contact manager: mail, text, add follow-up plans, add them to other vaults, tag them, whatever you want to do. So there's all sorts of possibilities there with what you can do with people in the group. You can even filter it down from there.
All right, Cynthia had a question, Greg, about how the vaults appear inside of the member area. She's asking if there's a way to change the order that the vaults appear. And that's the first part of the question. Okay.
Sort of yes and no. It's alphabetized right now. So there's no like ordering at the moment. I know that's kind of we've heard that from a few people on our wish list, but right now you can kind of screw around it a little bit. If you want one to appear at the beginning when you're editing your vault, this little trick works. You can just put a little space in front of the name, and then that pops it to the top of the list. And it doesn't look any different when people view it. So the neat
I
little
think
trick at the moment.
yeah, that's perfect hack for now. And then, and the other thing that's important to know is that everything that's in your vault doesn't become automatically viewable just because someone is in the member area. There are settings, actually, we were just on a page right there that showed there's a setting that you can select that will allow other people, let others in the member area see and join this vault. You can actually uncheck that if you want this vault only to be available to people by invitation or by signing up on a landing page or whatever, by you tagging and adding them or however you want to do it manually. So, so everything that you just saw when we were giving you guys those visuals of what member areas look like inside of GetOiling, your members aren't necessarily going to see everything that's available. Like when you go in, most of you guys today, when you go in and you check out the GetOiling member area, you're probably going to see half of what was shown here today, unless you have been a part of some of these other things that we've run that, you know, would have that exclusive access to those vaults that you saw. So you have the ability to sort of gate that where you want to. And then there's a second part of Cynthia's question, and this is important and really exciting to answer. Yes, she says, is there a way to copy a vault so you don't have to rebuild it?
Yeah, so this one, there's a different way of copying it than we normally do. In most cases in GetOiling, there's like a copy link. That was something that's also one of the wish list items, but you can actually copy it if you create a resource bundle. So if you come down to resource sharing and create a resource bundle, and then you'd add your, choose here like your vault, choose the vault, add a resource, and then once you save it, you'll get a link, and then you can like claim your own link, and then it makes a copy. It's a couple extra steps, but yes, you can definitely copy it at the moment. We're hoping to add a copy feature at some point to be able to make it a little bit easier, but yeah, you can do that through resource sharing.
Awesome. All right, so Karen asks, would you have different communities for different groups, like for prospects, members, business building? Yes, absolutely yes. Because if you think about those different sort of buckets of people, they all need to know different things, right? Like a PV promo is going to be like speaking, you know, an alien language to people who are leads who haven't even learned what PSK means yet, right? So you definitely want to have a different community that you're building for each. Obviously, they're linked, right? Like you're sort of, you know, you're using your lead community, your prospect community, as sort of a stepping stone into member community, which is a stepping stone deeper into building and sharing, right? So they're all really connected. They're all really deeply connected to who you are, what you're about, what you're passionate about. But at the end of the day, we're talking about building community. And that does mean meeting the needs of people based on where they are strategically. Let's see. Are the vaults set up kind of like a group on Facebook? Yes. Better yet, like a unit. So units on Facebook are going to be like classes or lessons inside of your vaults, right? So that online class is going to be sort of the equivalent to units inside of a Facebook group.
Yeah, one quick comment on that one too. So the way that classes work, they are like, so if I go back to the member area settings page, you can see vaults and online classes are at the same kind of hierarchical level here. So you create your classes, and then you can add your classes to vaults. So here's 3 classes. This demo account has 4 vaults. If we wanted to, we could take all of these classes and add them to all of the vaults. So you can end up with 3 classes in each one, or you can put it in 1 vault or 2 vaults or no vaults if you want to. But so then each vault gets kind of an independent view of that same, sort of like copying the class without copying it. It basically provides it to that vault, and then you know, like if you have comments on a lesson, those are isolated to that 1 vault. The people from the other vault don't see the comments on the same lesson in the other vault. So it's good that way. And so you know, you can see here like so here's some of the contents. If you want to change the contents that are in a vault, let me go to one that has more stuff in it, and I'll just show you here. You click on the vault, it shows you all the content. This is where you can actually reorder that if you'd like to. You can even hide some of the content if you want to link to it from a page later. If you want to add content, you click here, choose what you want to, add a page, discussion room, or class. If you have a class already, then it'll show up here. Otherwise, it'll prompt you to go make a class. So I just wanted to mention that you have to have the class created before you add it to the vault, but then you can put that same class into many vaults, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Which does get to a question that Maggie asks: why would you copy a vault? Which, I mean, I guess it's a fair question. It kind of depends. But one instance that comes to mind is if you wanted to create a member education vault, and you wanted to make that shareable to your builder downline. Like Greg just showed, you can actually go and create a resource bundle, which is, in that instance, in that example, total pre-made vault that now your people who are getting started sharing, maybe they don't feel super confident, super techie. With a few clicks, you can hand them your resources. So that's one example of actually copying a vault. But if you wanted to, basically use a vault that you've created as a template for another, that's another thing that you could do there as well. All right, so how do you get people to the vault, and can you use Facebook to lead them there? Yes, you can use Facebook to lead them there, and there's a few different ways you can do it. One way I've already shown you, right? That getoiling.com/member training is a landing page that gives you vault access. The landing page is one way. What are some of the other ways?
Yeah, so the landing page is a great way if you, excuse me, if you want to have people self-service. The other option is you can either individually or bulk add them through the contact manager. So like if you have an invitation only group, Business Builders is an awesome example, and you want to invite those people to a vault, check those people, or you can filter to go up to actions, click this link to add the campaign, follow-up plan, vault or tags, choose your vault, and then you can bulk add. I mean, you could bulk remove too if you've made a mistake. Sometimes that's useful if you accidentally did that, but you can undo what you've done. But you can bulk add like that, or if you're on an individual contacts page, then just click on their name and scroll down to vaults. You can see she's in 2 places. You can see when they last viewed and so on. If you click add, then you can choose the vault. It only shows you vaults that they're not in, this person's not in. Hit add, and then if there's any emails set up to go out, those are triggered automatically, so they get the notification to either create their account or give them a link right to that vault. Which brings me, while I'm here, like, quick sidebar. If you click on the vault name when you're viewing a contact, you can see all kinds of detail about them. Oh, this vault doesn't really have any classes. Yeah, so like here's a class that or a vault that has classes in it. You can see what they've done. This person has not completed any lessons. Ashley, what are you doing? No. Or they haven't watched any of the videos, but these would, this would show like, oh, they watched 76% of the video, and there would be little check marks here with a little eye icon if they viewed them. So you can see all sorts of things about what they're doing inside of classes. So deep visibility about what they're doing there. But anyway, back to the original question. So there's the landing page option. You can invite them. There's another option too, if you want to do this. You don't have to set up a landing page. There's another way of doing this. So if you go into your member area settings, and then there's this checkbox here that says allow any website visitor to sign up for your member area. And if you do that, you can choose what vault they get access to. And I obviously recommend adding them to some vault, or they'll come to an empty place. But so this would be for a prospects group. And what this does, this adds, I think the tooltip probably says that, but on your member area login page, if you don't have this box checked, all they can do is log in. But if you do have the box checked, then it gives them an option to create an account right there. So you can have, and then actually, if you're using one of our built-in website themes, this does add a link, I think, in the Learn menu for the member area. So it kind of connects all the dots. So people could just go to your website, they see member area inside of your menu, click menu or member area, sign up for an account, and they're in, and then they get into whatever vault it is that you've chosen. So that's another way. And then we've had a request.
Just to add in real quick, that's the option that you want to choose if you want to use GetOiling for your prospect community.
Yes, yeah, definitely. We've had several questions, many questions come in about, well, how do I set up like a vault for approval entry? And the way that we've suggested doing that is set up a landing page that does not actually let people into your vault. It just, because landing pages by default send you an email that say, so-and-so has registered on your landing page. You can create a landing page that's, kind of an approval one, and then you'll get an email And in that email, it'll show you, it'll actually have a link to that contact, which would take you then right to this contact page I was showing you. So like from your phone or whatever, if you approve them, then you could just come over here from that email, click the link in the email, it'll go to the contact, scroll down, hit add, and then add them to the vault. And then kind of that's the approval flow. It's manual. Obviously, if you're getting like thousands of these, that might be a little unwieldy. But for most communities, I think that works pretty well for an invitation approval style workflow. So as far as like connecting it to a landing page, I know we just sort of brushed on that, but I'll show you that briefly, how you can do that. So this works also for the page builder, but for landing pages, click on landing pages. If you have a, if you can pick an existing one or create a new one if you want to. The settings are in the same place. Once you're editing it, go up under settings and then page settings. And you get a little box here. Scroll down a little ways and you can see add to vaults. If you choose, you can, when they register on the landing page, you can have them be added to one or more vaults. So if you had, for example, a business builder landing page that you wanted them to get access to all 3 of your vaults or all 5 of your vaults or whatever you have set up, then you can do that all at once through the landing page. And again, the page builder has a very similar add to vaults feature too. So that's how you would set that up. And if I know we're going over this kind of fast, but there's always this help button in the corner. And if you search for, I think, vault, it'll give you an option for adding contacts to a vault. And it basically goes over what we've just been talking about here in the last 5 minutes or so, like different ways to get in. So yeah, those are many of the options there to get in, several ways. I think you're muted, Ashley.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
For those of you who are feeling overwhelmed right now at all of the possibilities and options here, understand that when you click that little question mark that Greg just showed you, it's going to answer probably 95% of the questions that any of you might have and spell things out in a way that you can kind of roll with at your own pace.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, going back to the top of our questions list here. Karen says, I have a paid Zoom account. Do I need the Zoom through you? This also speaks to a question I think I saw in the chat as well. Is all this included? Zoom is included. Is it basic and above? Or do we have Zoom at our?
It's on all the levels. The number of attendees varies. So like on the lower plan levels, I think basic allows 10 attendees. Premium is 100. And then it gets actually lower if you go to lower plans below that. But it all does have Zoom. I think even the lowest plan has 3. Yep, that's included. With the plan. So if you have a separate paid account for some other reason, like you've got, I don't know, a webinar, a big webinar on there, or maybe you're doing, there are reasons to keep it, but most of the time, the Zoom that's in GetOiling works for 99.9% of the people. So yeah. It's all included.
Yeah, if you're doing Zoom meetings and not webinars, there's a solid chance that you don't need an additional Zoom account with us.
Yes.
All right. How many vaults can you have, Susan? This is going to depend on the plan that you are at. Basic has 1, right?
Yep, 1, and premium has 5, and then pro has 10. And there are more, or so if you get below basic, the member area starts at the basic plan level. There are other plan levels below that. You can click on this to see those. There are a couple plan levels above this, or at least one that has more. If you need a custom plan, we can totally customize that for you on a per account basis. So just let us know if you have needs that fall outside of this. You don't have to like neatly fall into a plan. We know there's some people have different needs than others, but yeah, we can make a custom plan for you essentially.
Mm-hmm. Susan said she's in the process of completing a lead group on Facebook. Should I not finish it and put it in the vault? That's really going to be up to you. It just really depends on how you want to build it and where you spend your time. If you, and what your preferences are. If you enjoy using Facebook and you would like to build sort of a warming up pool there for your prospects, then by all means use it. Again, it's an easy place to get people engaged, and but it's not an easy place to retain attention, and that's kind of where it starts to fall short. So it's a fine place for leads. I would say if you're already building something or you've got something that you're happy with that people are, engaging with where leads are concerned, then yeah, by all means, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But where it comes to really deepening, education and also as you build your business, looking toward the goals that you have and the workflows that you want to follow and how much time you want all of this to take up for you on a daily or weekly basis, it is important to start considering, where the big time sucks are. And if you can build an infrastructure and automation to help serve you and buy your time back as your team grows and as you advance, it's definitely a good idea to have those other resources, such as a member group or a builder group, educational stuff like that inside of your own member area. Of course, and again, I'm not saying don't do your lead group here. You could totally do a lead group here. But, it's just a matter of preference. All right. And yes, Susan, you're right about that question about, we'll talk about that in the Go for Gold group. Okay. All right. At what level do the vaults kick in? That's at the member area level, starting at basic. The Grow Workspace bundles can go into the classes. Actually, I think one of those in Jane's vault, one of those lessons had a sway in it. I think several of them did.
Yeah, where was that? I think one of these had that sway in there, and I think that was a grow sway, if I remember right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So if you've got sways from, yep, there you go. If you've got sways from Grow Workspace, you can plug those in as a lesson. Yeah, totally. Really anything that you get from them can go into our platform and be used any number of ways, for sure. We love them. All right. Is the landing page the better way to go, and what are the benefits? So where we are talking about a lead group or a lead or a prospect environment, a landing page is a great idea. Where we're talking about something that's a little more exclusive, that becomes a little bit more of a gray area, because a link to a landing page could be shared with someone who maybe isn't authorized to get that information, right? So you could. And the benefit there for you would be that it would save you a handful of steps or maybe a couple of minutes when it comes to adding someone new. But really the workflow, if you say have a member group and you want to make sure everybody's added, is just a matter of uploading your from your VO, your contact list, which you should be doing regularly, right? And then tagging that list of people and making sure they're added to the vault, right? So it's up to you. It's an effective way. It can save you time, but you also just need to take into consideration that if it's a link is technically shareable, and then you would just kind of have to keep an eye out for maybe folks coming in who aren't actually supposed to be there, if that makes sense. How many classes can you put into one vault? Carolyn asked.
That really depends on your plan. So you can, based on, so like basic, you can have max of 1 and then 5 and then 10 as you move up here. And I think there's one with 20. But you could, if you wanted to, you could put all, let's say you have the premium plan, you could put 5 into one vault. Now that would use up all 5 of your classes, but you could put them all in one vault, and then maybe, like one of them would be over here. So an example of one that, a class that might go into more than one vault, like maybe you have an Essential Oils 101 vault that, class that would go into, say, your new prospects vault as well as a members vault. So there's some cases for sharing it in that case, but you can put all of the classes that you can put into all of the vaults. So you could, another example of this would be, you could put all 5 classes into all 5 vaults, or you could just have one vault or one class for each vault. So kind of up to you about how you sort that out. Depends on the structure of how you have your classes set up.
Totally. I'm trying to see if we had any questions here that didn't get answered. Let's see, is there an a la carte price to add additional classes?
You can email us and, we could see what might work for you there, depending on what you're looking for. There isn't a way to just buy a new one in the back office. For example, like if you need a second vault, we don't have that set up or anything, but if you shoot us an email, we can figure something out.
Awesome. So vaults are for a team, not new prospects. No, Susan, vaults can be for anyone. What what I'm suggesting here in our training today is that you have separate vaults for people at separate stages, sort of stages in the young living life cycle, right? So there's folks who have not, gotten the product. They are not members yet. They need to be in their own sort of their own vault in this instance. You've got your members, and they may or may not be sharing. There's another vault for them where you've got PV promos and education and stuff like that. And then you've got your builders who, are certainly also members, but you're not necessarily going to put all of the team building stuff inside of a more member focused, product focused group, right? What I'm describing right now is potentially 3 different vaults, right? Each serving a specific purpose. You may want more for different purposes. I know if you are, and Go for Gold, for instance, there's an additional one or maybe a couple additional ones that are recommended. But generally speaking, you want to make sure that you've got a place for your prospects, a place for product education for your members, because that's who it's relevant to, and then a place for team, if that applies to you. So a vault is similar to a group on Facebook. A class inside of a vault is similar to a unit or multiple units on Facebook. So units on Facebook is kind of like an online class. We have an online class feature that goes into a vault. So just like you'd have units in a Facebook group, you have classes in a vault for us. So we are, just to compare, Facebook group, vault, what was it? Units, lessons. All right. Let's see, off topic. How can I get into Go for Gold? Is that your team only? No, that's not. No, that's no secret. GetOiling.com/Go for Gold. That is a course that we've co-created with Martha Krejci, who went gold in 6 months in 2019. And we show you how to do it and give you high-level strategies, support, all kinds of great stuff. And it's like just amazing. GetOiling.com/Go for Gold. I think she also has there's a group on Facebook you can go to for free that's called Gold Getters. And it's like because of Gary, like hashtag because of Gary, hashtag Gold Getters. Pretty sure that Gold, G-O-L-D, Getters, believes what that's called. So you can definitely purchase that. It's totally worth it. It's amazing. We co-created that. So that's what that is. Let me see. Let's see, are those our groups, lead specialty members all go into vaults? Yes, where we talk about, just to touch really briefly, Susan, in Go for Gold, where we talk about groups, in this case, group translates to vault. So Facebook group translates to vault in GetOiling. All right. We did have one question, and this is not necessarily vault specific, but I think it's an important thing to address because I know a lot of you guys are sending emails, using our system to send emails and newsletters and things like this. Sharon had mentioned that that her campaigns are landing in spam folders, which is something, you guys, no matter what platform that you use, if you're sending out an automated sequence of emails, if you're sending out a marketing campaign, a lot of, especially inboxes like Gmail, will tend to automatically move you over to spam or automatically put you in promotions or something to that effect. And this is why it's really important when you do send out a message to someone, or if you plan to send out a sequence of messages to someone, that you set the expectation at the outset for you to tell them, all right, listen, I am about to send you this many things over this period of time. Go ahead and add my email address to your address book so it doesn't go to spam. If you do that and they add you to their address book, then they're going to receive those emails, right? They're going to receive them in their inbox because you're now a contact. So just make sure that you're doing that. If you're getting someone onto a campaign and they're your member and you're direct communication with them, have the conversation with them. Otherwise, make sure that you include that on a confirmation pop-up on a landing page, for instance, or on a confirmation page that you create.
Yeah, we did actually recently add a help article on that. If you search for, I think, delivery or something like that, tips to improve email and text delivery, we've got big articles about, best practices there. And like you mentioned, it's not foolproof. All these mail providers have their own little secret algorithms about who gets to go through into the inbox and who goes to the spam folder and who doesn't even show up at all. So, yeah.
For sure. Oh, cool. Greg put the link over here in the chat. For those of you who aren't familiar, definitely recommend check out this, what is it, facebook.com/group/YL Gold Getters. That's Martha's free Facebook group. It's a really great community. You don't have to be on her team or anyone's team. It's Team YL. Great place to go, and you can learn more about Go for Gold there. All right. Well, do we have any other questions? I'm really impressed today. Great turnout and a lot of good questions today.
I don't see any others here. Okay.
Love that you answer emails so quickly. Go team.
Awesome. Cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, cool. You guys, we'll see you next week. Definitely, if you are watching this later on as a replay, make sure you're registered so that you get the invitation to join these live. You can do that at getoiling.com/weekly work session. If you've already signed up, you don't have to do it again. We're going to send it out to you every week. If you need help with something, right? If you would like to see a more in-depth thing, if you have not been able to find the in-depth answers to your questions, let us know. We do these trainings for you, and we're happy to help you. And if you need us to come on with you and work with you side by side, get into your account, help you figure things out, we're here to help you do that. Guys, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, awesome team. And we will see you guys same time, same place next week. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.